Hi everyone, this is Seah once again. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Today is the 8th of January. It's my uncle's birthday and I want to wish him happy birthday. I have been so busy today that I've forgotten to actually wish him this morning. It's really crazy. And I would like to take this opportunity, as this is our first video in 2023. I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone Happy New Year and hope that the year is going to get better and better for everyone. And I hope the COVID-19 situation is going to ease down and becomes really like a common flu, we don't really have to take an extra precaution against it. I hope, right? I wish this can happen. And I do hope that, the travel open up and everybody is free to visit everywhere they want to. That's enough for the introduction. And today's focus will be on a DF64P version. Right, recently I've sold a unit of a DF64P to my customer, and he wanted to install the SSP high uniformity burr, and we did the installation for my customer. And I think there's one thing that everyone must take care, right? Which is the thickness of the SSP high uniformity burr, right? Because as we know that the SSP high uniformity is slightly thicker than the stock ETA mill. And because DF64P is an espresso dedicated grinder, hence therefore the grinding range is very sensitive on the DF64P and not so much on the DF64, the original version, because with the 3 springs, we are able to adjust the top collar to find the 0 point easily. But on the DF64P, it is not as straightforward as compared to the DF64. So if you are thinking of installing the DF64, the SSP on the DF64P or the E version, please take note, right? Because you have to manually adjust the grinder so that you will know exactly where the touch point is, right? If not, this is going to happen to your grinder, right? I'm going to show you shortly. All right, this is the unit that I collected back from my customer. And now let's open this and show you what happened to the SSP burr inside. We installed the SSP burr, high uniformity burr for this particular customer of mine. And then when he go back, he straight away put bins inside and start to grind coffee at about 35. And everybody thinks that 35 should be coarse enough for you to grind coffee, and nothing should go wrong, right? But the feedback from my customer is that the bin does not go down, which means that the beans will be hopping in this area. Nothing has been coming out. That means no coffee has been grinded, right? So I asked him to adjust all the way to the courses, and yet still nothing comes out. Then I thought of the fact that, when we adjust the DF64 original, when we install the SSP stock as on the stock DF64, right, our 0 point actually moved all the way to 3 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock, which means there is about a 90-degree of grind adjustment that is lost due to the thickness of the SSP burr. So I suspect that this could be the reason why that the coffee is not being grinded, because it is just the burrs are just too close to each other. And in fact, this is the result of grinding at 35. So I'm just going to open up and show you what happened. Okay, let me bring the burr closer. Right, then can you see the wear over at this end? Right, so there's a premature wear on the outer rim side. Right, on the whole, the rest is still okay, but just that this side has been, when the two burr touches each other, they actually wear off slightly on the coating on the SSP burr. Okay, let me take a look at the bottom, and I'll bring you closer to see. On the bottom burr, let me zoom in and show you closer. Right, you don't really see any signs of really excessive wear. Yeah, the burr seems to be the lower burr seems to be okay. And out of goodwill, we're going to switch out a new set of burr for this customer of mine. But in the future, if any customer want to upgrade to SSP, we will not do the installation for you, right? Please do the installation for yourself, because we are not going to be responsible for any damages to the burr itself due to the usage. Because when we install the burr is actually brand new, and due to the setting of the thickness of the SSP burr, which is extra thicker than as compared to the stock Itamil, and this is actually not caused by us actually, but out of goodwill we will replace this type of burr for this particular customer of mine. But in the future we will not be doing that. So I'm going to just switch out the burr, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to adjust this grinder so that the touch point is exactly at the 0 setting here, right? Exactly at the 0 setting here, right? So this is the content of today's video, and I hope that this will caution you when you want to actually install the SSP burr. And before you start the grinder, please make sure that you adjust the 0 point carefully, and so the touch point, the burr touch point, which is what we call the 0 point, and make sure it is at 0. Otherwise, you may prematurely cause wear to your the burr. All right, let's do that by first taking out the bottom burr. So you will need something like a wrench to hold on to it. Otherwise, the bottom burr will keep running, and it'll be very hard for you to hold on by your own hand, right? I've actually showed this in other video before. So if you are not familiar, right, this is actually similar to other DF64, right? So always have a wrench. I think the size is 14 mm, and then we will try to take out the burr. Okay, this is not the correct screw driver. Let me just change to another one. Okay, this should be the one. Let's test it out. Yep, okay. Use this to grab on so that you have some kind of support, and then with a twist. Wow, okay. Okay, I have to change this. This is probably not the right one. Okay, let's try this. Wow, okay. I'm afraid that I may wear I don't want to cause excessive wear on the screw. So let's change to another one and test. Another reason that you'll probably not be able to turn is because there's coffee trapped inside the screw. Okay, you can see that this is not biting on the screw very well. Okay, so this is not the right one either. No. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, the first screw is being loosened. Okay, let's try on the others. Okay, it is loosened. Okay, be careful not to strip the screws. Otherwise, these are the screws that are quite hard to find on the right size. Okay, it's moving now. Okay, so all the 3 screws are out. Okay, let's take a closer look. Right, take out the O-ring, put it back. Let's check for any signs of wear. I think this part probably had a little bit of wear, right? But this is actually not going to affect the grind performance, right? Okay, so let's replace a new one. Okay, pop in the 3 screws. Right, and let's tighten this again. Okay, so basically the bottom burr has been replaced. Now let's check the top burr again. Let's move this grinder aside. Right, the top burr actually is easier to move out because there's nothing moving. So we can just do the unscrewing right away. Alright, so let's just get the screwdrivers. Okay, you can see that it's a lot easier to remove. Be careful, really have to be very, very careful not to scrape the screws. Right, again, let's clean out the coffee on O-ring. Right, and let me bring the burr closer. So you can say this is the wearing of the burr sets. This is when the burr touches and touches for a prolonged period of time, and this is going to happen. Alright, so let's switch out this burr. Okay, so it's tightened. So now both set of burr has been replaced. Right, I'll use this for myself. Okay, so the burr has been changed to a new set, and now let's adjust the grind, the 0 point at the bottom of the grinder. Right, before we can do that, right, we really have to remove the 4 stick-on vibratory, those anti-vibration or anti-slip padding. Right, just use your fingernails and try to slowly take it out. Right, there are double-sided tape at the side. Right, even if this double-sided tape is out, you can still use a new one, right, to stick it on. Right, nothing to worry about. Right, this 4 empty slip padding is actually to cover the screw holes, right, that secure the base of the grinder to the main body of the grinder. Right, just put those 4 padding aside, and now we get this exposed 4 screws here, which we can take out easily. Okay, before we take out the base, we have to screw in the top burr carrier so that later on we can actually feel the 0 point as we adjust the bottom. So you can see that there's no controller for the DF64P, the timer controller. So the bass just drop out, which is a lot easier for us to do the adjustment, right? So inside is actually very easy. So before that, let's turn the grinder over and then we screw in the top first. Right, same thing, make sure that the two indentation here, right, matches the two screws in front. Currently, my grinder is adjusted to the courses. Right, so just tighten it. Okay, so let's turn. Right, you don't hear any noise of a burr touching. So before you actually start grinding, you should adjust your grinder. You can see. Can you hear that? The burr touches at 55. No wonder when my customer grinds at 35, there's no coffee coming out because the burr is already touching at 35. So before you even start grinding on this grinder, if you install SSP, is to feel your 0 point first, right? So that's the first thing you do. Otherwise, I think no one that supply SSP is going to replace the SSP burr for you, right? Because I think that's actually the end user problem, right? And we don't recommend switching out the SSP burr by yourself, right? If you want, I guess we have to charge some amount of money to do the adjustment, because not everyone is going to replace the stopper with SSP. However, if you do the DLC burr, I don't think that is going to be an issue, right? Because DLC burr is quite similar to in terms of profile as compared to the stock Itamiya burr. But I'll do probably a measurement using a caliper to make sure that the thickness of the SSP burr, let me just do the measurement in the next video, the thickness of the SSP burr versus the high uniformity, of course, versus the DLC versus the stock Itamiya. Let's measure them out and see what's the difference in terms of thickness, right? So at the bottom, you can see there are this screw here, which we need to loosen it. Okay, so this is the right size, right? The right size is actually 13 mm, right? So you get something like a wrench to help you, right? It can be too close, so it will be good that you get an extender, right? Okay, let me grab an extender. Right, with this, I can actually adjust from the top, right? Okay, so now this can be done, right? So I can do the adjustment here. So now you can see if okay, let me bring the camera lower. You can see if I turn here, right? The bottom is going to move together. And because the burr is already touching, so I have to unscrew this to loosen the grip. Then I can do the readjustment of the grind setting. Okay, first let's loosen this. Okay, so it's loosened. So you can see I'm actually moving towards you can see there's a marker there, right? It's a marker marked previously by the factory. Okay, so now let's feel the adjustment. Okay, so now the touch point has been adjusted to touch at about 25. So now I have to adjust it slightly more. Okay, let's try. So now you can see there's the final setting here. The burrs are rubbing. Can you hear that? Okay, so I have to adjust. I will turn this in the anti-clockwise manner, and then I will lock it up. I will unlock first. Can adjust, right? Then I'm going to turn it back, and then I'm going to feel the touch point again. Okay, can hear that the burrs are no longer touching. Now I have to find where exactly the burr touches. Okay, I think this is moving freely. Okay, the burrs are not touching anymore. So let's adjust it more. Okay, can hear the burrs are touching. Okay, the burr is locked now. So let's unlock it a little bit more. By the way, turning anti-clock is to loosen it. Oh wait, let me recorrect myself. If I turn anti-clock, I'm actually loosening it, correct. So if I turn clockwise, I'm actually locking it. So now I'm locking it. Right, let me move to the 0 point again. Okay, the burrs are locked, so that's not what I want. So let's go anti-clockwise to loosen it. I want to move in such a way that now the bottom disc here, right, the silver color one, when I lock it down, this is the grind adjustment level. So when I lock it down, the burr should be touching at 0 point. So this is you have to try this many times. So now the burrs are locked. I have to unlock it first. Okay, let's lock this up. When I say lock it up means that when I turn the grind adjustment, right, the whole thing should be moved together. Okay, now can you hear that the burrs are touching? So this is, okay, now the burrs are no longer touching. Can you hear? Oh, it's still touching a little bit. Okay, so now I want to lock it up and move all the way. Good, now the burrs are touching at 0. Still touching a little bit. Not touching. Sorry, it's really difficult for me to position in the camera. Okay, so now it touches at 0, at 10 position. So let's unlock it again. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so it's no longer touching. So I think that will be the 0 point that we want. So now I will be locking this grinder. Okay, so now I believe it should be okay. So let's do a test. Okay, at 0 it's no longer touching. Make sure that the discs move together with the lever. So how can you see that? You can see that there's a black color marking there. So it should be able to move together. That means the two are locked firm enough. So this will give you the adjustment. Okay, so now let's grind some coffee and test. Right, before that, let's put back the cover. Right, the cover of the DF64P is a lot easier to be placed back as compared to the the E version. Right, the P version is a lot easier. Right, and if you don't feel comfortable, doing this by yourself, right, we will charge you a fee, right, if you want us to do it for you. That's provided if you want us to do it. Alternatively, you can follow my video and try to figure this out yourself, right, if you are okay with a little bit of DIY. Okay, let's plug in the power and test the grinder. Okay, so at 0 it's no longer touching. That's good. Okay, now let's put the hopper on and do a test. Okay, let's get this cup here, and then we're going to put some coffee inside and grind. Right, let's adjust the grind setting to about 20. Turn on the grinder. You can see the coffee is already grinding. Yep, so it's completed. Right, and a grind size of 20. Right, I believe you can grind finer. So I think about 15 will be the perfect grind range for espresso, but it can definitely grind for now. Right, so I hope that you find this video useful. If you are getting yourself the DS64P, and also if you want to install the SSP, any sets of SSP burr, so do be careful, right? Because the burr touch point will be brought to a lock coarser setting, and if you are not careful, you're going to wear your SSP, and this is not part of the warranty that's covered by any of the dealers or seller, right? So this is CY once again. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you find this video useful. If you like our video, do remember to support us by subscribing to our channel, like our videos, and share to anyone that you think that's like coffee nerd like us, right? So remember to hit the bell, right, if you want to stay updated with any video that we update, right? So happy new year once again, and I'll see you in the next one.